put on that uniform, when they swear in, they've earned it. They've earned that respect.
I mean, that's the last thing that family will ever see of their service member, their loved one. The honor of being there to be able to give that veteran, his last respects as he's passed on.
Sometimes it can be hard to not break your composure.
The part that probably emotionally gets you invested the most is immediately when taps is being played. Because I don't know what it is about taps, but that's literally when everyone starts crying.
My name is Sergeant Chris Dye, and I'm the state trainer for the Military Funeral Honors Program. When I first got in, it was 2010 when I enlisted. I came back. I knew a sergeant through recruiting who had talked to him. I went and watched a few and was just really blown away at what they've done, how crisp they are, just the honor of being there to be able to give that veteran his last respects.
My name is Sergeant William Petty, and I am the Southern Area Regional Coordinator for the Military Funeral Honors Program. I was about 16 roughly when my grandfather passed away. I remember attending a funeral. He spent about 12 years in the military, Vietnam era. Didn't really understand who the guys were there, but they definitely represented themselves in such a way that let me know that my grandfather was a part of something big. Before I even knew what the Honor Guard was, I remember that presence that they had at that funeral. I can almost see their faces still.
I am Sergeant Angelique Romero, and I've been a part of Military Funeral Honors since 2011. Initially, I was brand new to the Guard, right out of RSP, and I decided to pretty much further the new organization that I was a part of, so I decided to join a team, and what better than, Military Funeral Honors.
Command Sergeant Major Robert Stavata, State Sergeant Major, Louisiana National Guard. The tradition of providing military funeral honors in some form began in ancient Greece and Rome. The funeral honors protocol of today traces its roots to those ancient ceremonies, as well as to historical American experiences. The value our program adds to the Louisiana National Guard is to provide the final respect to not only the members of the Louisiana National Guard who have passed away, but to all veterans.
We are the soldiers that go out to the details for the veterans. We go out to the flag fold, taps, flag presentation. We also do fire and party, full honor sequences.
It's almost like closing the chapter on a soldier's life. I mean, of course, they're being buried at that time, but it's actually like I want to say, we kind of summarize or kind of bring to light to the family what it meant for that person to serve.
We're not just out there doing funeral honors. Behind the scenes, we're going to funeral homes, introducing ourselves, spreading out the word about military funeral honors. Not enough people know about it. So behind the scenes from doing the actual funerals, you're working consistently. It just does not stop.
Our nation reveres those who have died in military service. Memorial ceremonies and services reflect the emphasis the American people place on the worth and value of the individual. The Funeral Honors team's role is rendering tribute to American sons and daughters who have paid the ultimate price while serving the nation in defense of freedom. Memorials pay final tribute to the fallen comrades and facilitate honor, dignity, and care in paying tribute to the fallen. Being a part of a team that provides a lasting farewell is very unique, and one must be very proud to be a part of that.
Back down, wrist roll. He doesn't have to toss it back up into his hand. Yeah, if it wasn't for our volunteers that come in and do this, it would be really tough for us to get these details done. These guys that are coming in volunteering, we only have 10 full-time employees. That this is what they do full-time. As of January 13th, we had 99 funerals that we'd already done, and it's way surpassed that now. It's constant, but we make sure that we do a refit day for our guys. We make sure we rotate out, give them days off, because it really doesn't take long to get burnt out.
And it's very important just to know you need to separate your personal life from your work life, and there's no class on that. Nobody can teach you how to do that. It's just something that you have to balance in your own way.
These guys that come in on their first training day, we make it known that day. If they have any doubts that it's going to be something they can't handle emotionally, it's nothing against that soldier or that individual. We just understand that there's some who can't handle death very well, can't handle being around that kind of emotion very well. I buried a friend of mine 2011. The hardest thing about that one was I actually had to get him dressed in his blues to make sure everything was correct. I wanted to make sure everything was done right. That was one of the hardest ones I've ever done, and then I had to do it twice.
And when you're dealing with nothing but the dead, 90% of the time, it's really hard to not take that home with you and think about what you saw.
2 or 3 times I did it, I'm literally fighting back tears. And I expressed that with my team members, and they were like, it's perfectly understandable, it happens.
You know, regardless of if you knew them or not, it's going to take a toll. You know, we always make sure we check on each other. You're talking about doing hundreds of details. We actually train to do this daily. So to make sure that what we go do, that final send-off for that veteran is, you know, top-notch, best it can be. You know, that take a lot of pride in that.